them up and go racing. Lots of cool stuff happening in the infield. Stop by the Springfield Armory has a booth. And they're raffling off they raffled off a 1911 stainless steel 45 caliber Army pistol. Man, it's going to be crazy. A lot of stuff happening down there in the infield. There's a jar set up at the infield concession if you want to donate to the Jethro Halbert Fund to help out his son and his fiance and the family. And so much cool stuff happening here in Peoria. It's good to be here in Peoria. Are you ready?
I am very much ready, and you talk about all this cool stuff. It always seems to coincide with the Peoria TT. We got to give a big thanks to all the members of the Peoria Motorcycle Club. I've been running nationals here since before the AMA Pro Grand National Circuit started. Since 1947, I believe we're at number 68 or 69 right now. Tip of the hat to all the members that volunteer their time and share their love of motorcycling and allow us to come play in their backyard every year.
Absolutely. We're going to have two GNC2 heat races. We'll take the top 7 finishers directly to a main event, and then we'll go into our GNC1 class. We had a change in the format here today, Chris, and we have 2 heat races for those folks also. We'll take the top 7 finishers. Everybody else comes back in the GNC1 class. You come back in one semifinal, we'll take the top 4 out of there. We'll have 18 rider main events in both classes, GNC1 and GNC2 here today. So the Motormaid's getting one last lap around this beautiful track. Like Henry Wiles said, it's basically a half mile, but you're throwing a kink on the back straight and a big jump. So how do you gear for a place like this?
You don't. There's really no place to, unless you own a lot of property, it's kind of hard to replicate the Peoria TT. And that's what makes it so cool, I think, is that the only time you really experience that is when you show up. A lot of times on a short track somewhere, you can go out and kind of mark it out in a field somewhere and get an idea of what you're dealing with when you go to a race of the same dimension. Duplicating this place is impossible, and I think that's what lends its aura for all the riders.
What's it going to take to pull off a victory?
I think a lot's going to matter. We've been talking about Henry Wiles and Jared Mees. They seem to be the story of the day, and it's my belief that if Henry Wiles came down the hill today expecting to win, then he's going to be very tough to beat. If he came down that hill hoping to win, I think he's in trouble, because there's a lot of guys hoping to win as well, and it means he'll be outnumbered. For Jared Mees to win today, he's going to have to have the race of his life, because beating Henry Wiles is not an easy thing to do, even on a bad day.
We've seen Henry win here 10 times in a row. You've actually won here 13 times. They weren't all credited in a row because you stopped for a little while, went road racing. But personally, you've got 13 wins here.
I personally have 12 in a row, yes. So
13 total.
13 total, 12 in a row personally, and it's not an easy thing. I know from personal experience that the weight on your shoulders as you come down into this place year after year on a win streak gets heavier and heavier, and I believe Henry Wiles is starting to feel that a little bit, and he's a little vulnerable at the moment. Jared Mees is on the top of his game right now.
All right, hit us up on Twitter at AMA Pro, Flat Track, at Scotty Dibbler, at CC4 LLC. We'll do your best to answer questions. They're going to send these guys out to take one look at the track to get one lap under a kind of a yellow condition. It's called a sighting lap because we did work on the racetrack. They're going to go straight around. On the pole is Jesse Janish, the 32L. Some of the riders already taken off. I'll get them past the start-finish line before we go into the starting lineup of our first heat race. Also, right behind the announcer's tower, the class of 79 and friends are back there. They got several banners on sale, and they also have a place to donate for Jethro Halbert Memorial Fund, AMAFT79.com. You can also sign for the golf outing, the Scott Parker Invitational. Is it Invitational? Scott Parker Classic. What are we calling that?
I think they're calling it the Invitational, but he's a classic, so you can call them both.
Everybody's invited, so stop by and get signed up for the golf outing. It's going on Springfield, Illinois on Friday before the legendary Springfield Mile. Your starting lineup looks like this for heat race number 1 of the GNC2 class. On the pole from West Bend, Wisconsin, the 32L Jesse Janish. Starting right beside him from Holly, Michigan is the 20J, that is Ben Lau. From Philpott, Kentucky, 69C, Hayden Gillum. Starting 4th, Albion, New York rider, 94B, Ryan Wells. From Burlington, Iowa, 55L, Cole King. Last year's winner from Snohomish, Washington, the 20M, Jacob Lehman. Runner number 2, 27U, Jamison Miner. 11Z, Andrew Luker. 44E, Nick Armstrong. 10L, Mac McGrew. 93F, Hunter Edwards. 24F, JR Addison. Way back on the 3rd row is Rick Ivy III on the 59P. 99A, Kyle McGrain. 22P, Blake Clays. And 65L, Christian Johnson from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Top 7 finishers go to the main event. Everybody else has to come back in one last chance qualifier.
Yeah, we saw some great speed and some exciting riding from Jesse Janish, our pole sitter, a former GNC1 competitor, taking a few years off, finds himself coming back out for the Peoria TT. Won this class here at the July race. He's going to be the guy to watch with Ben Lau showing some good speed, as well as Hayden Gillum.
All right, so heat race number 1's on the line in Thunder Valley. It's time to go racing in Peoria. Watch the green light. Janish from the inside. Here comes Gillum on the yellow Suzuki. Now it's going to be the 94 is going to take him in. That's Ryan Wells going to try to lead him into the first corner here at Peoria. They'll get things situated. They'll head up the jump. It's Wells at the point.
Wells at the point, going up over the jump as these guys try to find their way through. Some of them going a little bit off the track, kicking up the dust in the grass. I think they were all they did real good there. I think they're all pretty nervous about going to the jump all over together, and as we get going up the front straightaway, things are starting to string out a little bit.
Out front, it's Ryan Wells. He's got Jesse Janish all over the rear fender as they go into one. It's still Janish. Now it's Wells and Janish headed up the jump. Janish takes a look over his shoulder, wants to see how close his competition is. Hayden Gillum's right there in the third spot. You can see Janish let it whip over the jump.
Let it whip over the jump. It kind of says, all right, how much room do I have here? I'm going to follow this guy for a little bit, follow Ryan Wells, see if I have anything for him in other parts of the racetrack, and see if he can set him up. You know, all these guys right here in the front part of the pack, you know, really not under a threat not to make the main event, so you don't really want to show the guy in front how to pass him just yet. I think Jesse using his experience as a former GNC guy to go, hey, I'll just kind of test this guy out for a little bit and then worry about winning the main event.
Wells bobbles just a little bit going into that last left-hander. It's Ryan Wells out front, the 94B, 32 in second. Janish all over the place, kind of whiskey throttling a little bit coming up that last corner. Gets back on the bike. He loses a few bike lengths to the leader.
Got up a little high, got the rear wheel out in the real dry dirt. We see the track in the middle of turns 1 and 2, a little bit on the dry side as well. We're going to start seeing some rubber creep back through this racetrack. They had dug it up a little bit in turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, put a little water down, but it's a little on the dry side right now. So I imagine we're going to see some blue grooves starting to form here any second.
Janish has caught up to the leader. Can he make the pass halfway? Flags are in there for heat race number 1, GNC2 class. It's Wells out front, Janish in second, Hayden Gillum third, last year's winner Jacob Lehman in fourth, and Ben Lau rounds out your top 5. 6th and 7th, Cole King, and Jameson Miner, after that hard get off, is in that 7th and final transfer spot so far. Chris?
Good run by Janish in second, keeping the pressure on as we see the track form a little bit of rubber there coming between the right-hander. Oh, Janish into the back of the 94, runs up wide, leaves the door open for Hayden Gillum, come up the inside. Guys got a little close there in the middle of 3 and 4, and a mistake. Janish back around the outside through 1 and 2, runs it in there deep, grabs a handful.
He made that pass look easy, but he hasn't been able to make the pass on the leader. So the leader's run a smooth, very smart race out front. It's Ryan Wells. He's been on fire at the non-nationals as well as he's been doing pretty good on the national circuit. 94Bs, the New York riders out front. We got a Wisconsin rider in second and a Kentucky rider in the third spot. Here they come down the long front straightaway.
Well, I'm sure Janice hasn't raced a whole lot, even though he was here, has a few jitters. We talked to him earlier in the show, the pre-race show. He's a little nervous, trying to control his heart rate here. Let's see if he can settle back down and march down and find a way by the 94B of Ryan Wells.
Almost landed on the inside grass that time, so he's been taking several different lines, just checking it out. He cannot make the pass on Ryan Wells. Wells going to lead him out the corner. He's fighting a buck and bronco here. They come to the white flag. It's going to be a dog fight to the end. 3 riders battling for the lead. Janish around the outside.
Janish runs it in deep. Let's see if he can get on the gas and get a good drive. Nope. Wells coming off of turn 2, gets a great drive, gets the thing mowed down and turn, and gets a good acceleration to the jump.
So it's Wells into the final corner.
Oh.
Janish just about touches tires. He squares it up. Now he's going to try to make the pass coming off the corner, trying to shoot out low. Now he goes around the outside. Here comes Wells. Janish up into the fence. Watch out. Checkered flag's in the air, and it's Wells taking a win. Janish will take second, and a very close Hayden Gillum right there in the third spot. The rest of the riders coming across the finish line. Top 7 finishers all go directly to our main event. A few more riders to pick up the checkered flag. You can see how spread out the field gets, but not up front. First rider across the finish line, the 94B of Ryan Wells. He won by .237 seconds. Second, Jesse Janish. Third is Hayden Gillum. Fourth is Jacob Lehman. Ben Lau will get 5th. 6th is going to be Cole King from Iowa, and Jameson Miner, one of the riders that crashed really hard earlier off the final corner, gets that 7th and final transfer spot. Everybody else going to a last chance qualifier. man, what a good way to start off today's event. Up next will be our GNC2 heat race. In just a moment, we'll talk to Danny Medine, and she's going to catch up with our heat race winner already. Let's go, Trex. I believe Danny is caught up to our heat race winner, the GNC2 class. Danny, take it away.
All right, thanks, you guys. Ryan Wells, you have to be feeling pretty good. How unique and how fun is this track?
Yeah, you know, it's an awesome racetrack, and I got third here last year, and I knew it was going to be a good race for me if I could get a good, strong bike, and ERT Racing supplied me with one rocket ship, so I do have a few changes to make. I was losing some traction there coming off the turn, so I think we get that fixed, and I think we're going to be going for them in the main.
Hey, you're going on to the main event. You have high expectations. Scotty and Chris, back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Danny. Congratulations to Flying Ryan Wells. Up next, heat race number 2, same class, GNC2. On the pole, 30Z, Bronson Bauman, Salinas, California rider on the Honda. Our points leader, 67M, Dashin Davis Fisher, Warren, Oregon on a Honda. 19B, Justin Jones, Holly, New York. 51M, Cole Fredrickson, Snohomish, Washington. 16S, Tristan Avery, Chesterfield, Washington. And 81P, Jace Castles from Australia. The last rider on the front row. Row number 2, 74Z, a former winner here, Rodney Spencer Jr. 44P from Abingdon, Illinois is Steven Sandoval. 69L, Morgan Mishler. 23F, Jeffrey Lowry. 54A, Dan Bromley. 23Z, James Monaco. And on row number 3, 50A, that's Joe Bromley. 49L, Luke Fox. 22L, Hunter Even. And the 20B, Tyler McKnight from Parts Unknown. Heat race number 2, GNC2 class, just like the last one. Top 7 finishers all go directly to the main event. Everybody else comes back in one last chance qualifier. Nobody wants to ride any more races because it's very warm here today in Peoria.
Yeah, it's these guys are gonna do everything they can to stay hydrated. I hope you fans are out there doing the same thing. Hot and humid, these are the kinds of days that I truly loved. I loved it hot and miserable. I loved the track rough, but that was more like back in my younger days. Today, I'm fortunate to be where I'm sitting. A little bit of air blowing on us. Great seat here to watch these GNC2 competitors in heat race number 2.
Here we go. 8 laps of distance, just like the last race. You got to get a good start, get out front. It's very hard to pass. We found that out in the last one as Janice couldn't make it happen. Here we go, heat race number 2 on the pole. Bronson Bauman looking for his first victory here. Light turns green from the center. It's going to be the 19B, Justin Jones. We got Fredrickson ducking up to the groove in a hurry as they go into turn number 1. Fisher's going to lead him off of turn number 2. He'll head up towards the jump. Jones in second. 51 right there is Fredrickson in the third spot. Here they come up and over the jump.
Whoa.
Watch out for Fisher.
Fisher just launched it off the jump, lands way to the right, gathers it up, flicks it through the right-hander, gets it through turns 3 and 4, and gaps these guys coming off of turn 4.
Man.
I think this kid's a little amped up.
Somehow just about went flying off the edge of the jump, but he still has the lead. That's 67M Fisher. Fredrickson in second. Justin Jones in the third spot. Bronson Bauman finished second here last year. He's back there in the 4th spot.
Yeah, Davis Fisher throwing it out there off the jump. Certainly airing it out more than anybody in this class so far. Not quite as stylish as maybe the Jesse Janish from heat race number 1, but he's certainly carrying the speed around the racetrack.
Absolutely, stretching out the lead a little bit. Also, a shout out to Steven Sandoval, Illinois rider.
Oh, yeah, Tristan Avery down hard, gets into the back of the rider in front of him. High sides off the rear, going down hard into turn 1.
And that's at full speed going into the first corner, you know, so got into the back side of the rider in front of him, and you just run out of time, run out of real estate, so you throw it down right there, and man, that's a hard get off for Tristan Avery on the 16S, going down hard right there in the first corner.
Yeah, that was, he got kind of in there a little hot underneath the rider in front of him, and didn't get the thing slowed down quite enough, and high-sided off the rear of him. That's a tough break.
All right. They're getting that down rider checked out right now. Also, shout out to Brad Baker, the defending or one of the previous champion on the 6 bike. He's back home watching us on fanschoice.tv, checking us out. So there goes Avery into the back of Bronson Bauman, and high side it goes up and over, and then he got lucky.
Motorcycle did a good job of staying in the racetrack there. That motorcycle bounced a second time over as high as the fence, over the height of the fence. As hopefully he'll be okay as they attend to him. He looks to be wincing a little bit in pain and maybe trying to get up. Not quite sure. They're going to say, hey, why don't you lay down for a second, get yourself a little breath here. And tough break for up-and-coming rider Tristan Avery.
And he won at DuQuoin. Was it DuQuoin or Indy?
DuQuoin.
Yeah, it was incredible
incredible race. He has won on the mile in Southern Illinois and finds himself on the ground here in Central Illinois today.
And just heard on the AMA Pro radio that the ambulance is headed out there right now. Complaints right now of pain in the ankle and on his side. So the ambulance is headed that way to get him checked out. Not the way we wanted to get started here at the Peoria TT, the heat race number 2. Wild and crazy into the first turn. And Ryan Wells looking for a clean sweep of the weekend. He won Friday night at Spoon River at the All-Star National Race. He won last night at Galesburg, the Galesburg Motorcycle Club. And if he wins today, that's 3 different tracks, three wins. That'd be pretty impressive.
He'll probably want to put a down payment on a house here in Central Illinois.
I might go ask him for a loan.
Yeah, he's certainly looking good. Off to a good start in this GNC2 heat race. But for now, we're gonna sit back and waiting on the prognosis of Tristan Avery, and hopefully the kid will get up and walk his way back to the pit area.
Well, let's check out and see how the air fence did. Wonderful job keeping Tristan out of harm's way and keeping him out of the fans. You can see stand down there. The air fence actually held him back here from going into that fence or hay bales or what used to be there in the days of the past. So that's why the air fence goes from racetrack to racetrack with us, and that's what it's for. It did its job, kept Tristan right there out of harm's way.
It certainly did, and we're fortunate to have it. And you know, a lot of this air fence has been made available to AMA Pro Racing via donations from riders and teams and family members and fans. As Tristan Avery gets up and
let's put our hands together for Tristan Avery, the 16S. He's getting up. He's trying to hobble it off, and hopefully he'll get a ride back to the pit area. And hopefully he'll be back, maybe if not in this race, maybe back in the semifinals. The bike's already been taken back to the hot box, so we'll see. He's pretty tough, so we'll see.
He's
a
tough kid. He's gone through a lot of racing adversity over the last year. About this time a year ago, he was fighting really hard in a hospital in Springfield from an accident at the Amateur Nationals on the half mile there in July of 2014. He's made a miraculous comeback, kind of worked his way methodically back into racing, found himself winning the DeCoin mile, and here he is on the ground at turn 1 of Peoria and going, I think I want to give this a shot. So good to see him. He's got the spirit of a warrior. He wants to go out there and see if he can do anything he can to get back on the starting grid.
And as the late Donnie Bargeman would say, he's tougher than a $2 steak. So we'll see if he can go back over there and get saddled back up and join us on the tail end of the field. We're going to have our first staggered restart. Davis Fisher, man, he had a wild ride over that jump the first lap by the fans. Some of the fans didn't get to see that, but, man, he was all over the place just about winning the grass and somehow saved it.
Yeah, he aired that up, landed pretty far right, and as soon as he landed, he jerked the bars left to make it into the right-hander and threw him back hard to the right to get through it, and ended up gapping the field. So let's see if he can repeat that here.
His dad's Rex Fisher's got numerous laps here too. Used to be national number 12. Used to chase you around this place quite a bit.
Yeah, he did. Rex and I used to race 600s a lot together back in the days, in the 80s and 90s. So this family is real rich in racing history, especially here in flat track, and it's good to see the next generation doing as well as they have.
So it looks like this, according to what we have on our screen. 67M Davis Fisher will be on the pole. Cole Fredrickson second, Justin Jones third, Bronson Bauman fourth. Avery was supposed to be in the fifth spot, so that puts Steven Sandoval back up to fifth. The Abingdon, Illinois rider in fifth. Rodney Spencer, Jace Castles, Jeffrey Lowry, Joe Bromley, Morgan Mishler, James Monaco, Hunter Even, Luke Fox, Dan Bromley. He had a great race here last year, came from the back of the pack, got up there on the podium. He's way at the back. Tyler McKnight, 15th, and now Avery, if he can rejoin us, he'll be at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, he's got thumbs up. Smile on his face after doing the digger into turn 1. He's going to get his helmet and a fresh pair of goggles on. Looks like this kid's gonna give it a shot. Got a ripped up jersey.
Yep.
That's a battle-hardened veteran of 16 years old right there.
Tough kid. Just moved up to the pro ranks earlier this year, the GNC2 class. And also, we'd like to say hi and thanks to Tommy Duma, TDFJ.com. He's listening at home in Ohio. Said he can't wait to get back to the Nationals. He's had a rough season. So, Tommy, we will see you soon, all right? Also, they are running low on T-shirts already. Please stop by and get them while supplies last. So they're already running low on the event T-shirts. Get them while you can. They also got some fresh fruit smoothies, if I'm not mistaken. That's That's who sends them to me. That's who always brings them to me at Springfield. I haven't seen her all day today.
Now, because you just said that, does that mean they're going to deliver some here?
I would hope so.
All right.
Hopefully she's listening, and maybe it's Betty with the fresh fruit smoothies, and she usually has jewelry and earplugs and all kinds of cool stuff. She's got the event T-shirts here today, and they are running low already. So Avery's coming to the tail end of the field if he can get his bike fired up. I don't know if he went to the backup bike with less than 5 laps complete. I believe he can. Is that correct?
I believe he can, yes, in his heat race. Spare bike out on the racetrack. We were only a couple laps into this one, so on a believe
2 laps in, I believe.
On an 8-lap heat.
Yep.
Looks like they've got the lineup pretty much formed out. What is it they call it? It's not it's a staggered restart.
Right.
That's correct. Staggered file.
JB Norris would call it echelons.
Echelon start.
Yeah, I never could say that word, so I practice every day.
Well, if you can't spell it, you can't say it.
Well, I can't spell that one for sure. I went to Oklahoma's finest public schools. All right, they're firing them up. Here we go. How hard is it for the pole setter to sit there and wait and have to wait and watch? And
I think it'll be okay. You know, he hasn't had to deal with this too much. It's like, this kid wants to race. Give me a green light. I want to race to that checkered flag and get there first. So I think Davis Fisher will be just fine.
All right, we'll see. It's just a moment. We got 2 laps complete, 8-lap qualifying heat race. Some of these guys trying to get their bikes fired up, pulling them up to the line. And we'll have a restart. Monaco trying to get that bike fired up, trying to push it started. These 450s, some of them are hard to kickstart. If they ran for a while, they cool down and sit there.
And they are difficult.
Yep. I'm glad it's them and not me. Also, Betty says they got some special Henry Decade of Dominance T-shirts almost running out of. That's what it was. All right, so we just got that corrected. So they're going to bring him back up. Monaco's going to pull up the 23Z. Had trouble getting that bike started. He still needs to put his goggles on. Most of these riders, looks like all these riders are wearing their motocross style helmets. That means they wear goggles. Some guys have hand guards on. You can see our leader's got the hand guards on there. Is that a smart move? Or?
A little bit of, flying
Bruce?
debris. For me, it's also, with 100 mile an hour, it might cut down a little bit on the aerodynamics, but not much.
All right, here we go. Restart. Davis Fisher leads him in the first corner. Jones takes over the 2 spot as they head up to the jump for the first time. It's Fisher headed that way. Fisher's in the lead here. See, we can hang on to it this time. They all land safely once again. Fisher through the snake. Jones is right there. Who's in third? Coming on strong.
Not sure who's in third right now. Couldn't quite get a glimpse of him, but up front, Davis Fisher, point leader in the GNC2 class, followed closely by Justin Jones, winner of Night 2 at Daytona Short Track. These guys are Fisher real wide in the middle of turns 1 and 2. He's had kind of that difficulty all day long as he airs it out off the jump. You see that thing fishtail all the way down into the right-hander. The kid's on the gas, doing a great job of controls. We have the 44 here in the fifth spot. This is going to be a great battle for the direct transfers all the way back into 7th.
Halfway flags are in there. Steven Sandoval right there in the 5th spot. Rodney Spencer, former winner here in 6th. And Jeffrey Lowry, now a former Horizon winner, is right there in 7th. And he's got company coming right behind him. It'll be the 69L Morgan Mishler, again battling for the top 7 spots. Man, Fisher just about loses it on the jump. He's jumping further and further, but this time when he lands, he gets really sideways.
Yeah, the landing off the jump is starting to seal off. It's a little dry. It's starting to take a little bit of rubber, and that means it's going to get slippers. We have a rider in the back, spins it out, coming off of turn 4. I believe that was Lowry that may have done that.
Yeah, he's all right. He gets up. He's shaking things off. He's out of harm's way. We're going to keep on racing. We race until we see red or checkered here in flat track. So it is the 69 bike that went down. Morgan Mishler. Track is clear. We keep on racing into the final corner. Is your leader already in a hurry? It's Fisher's got a big gap going to the start-finish line. Fisher still out front. Jones in 2nd. Colt Fredrickson, the West Coast rider from Washington's right there in the 3rd spot. Here comes Bronson Bauman, a California rider, in 4th.
Yeah, Bronson has done real well here. I think he likes the track a little wetter, a little grippier than it is right now. This track is turning into a very technical racetrack. A lot of rubber laying down on the landing of the jump. Jones gets his left foot out as he's going through the right-hander and has it out for balance going into the left. You see a lot of groove forming in turn 4, but Davis Fisher under control here, gapping him out with a lap to go.
White flag is out, 1 lap to go. It's Fisher, Jones, Fredrickson, Bauman, Steven Sandoval, the Illinois rider back there. Man, Fisher's run the high line through 1 and 2. He's riding all over the place, hanging on to it over the jump. It's still dashing Davis Fisher out front. Into the last corner, Fisher, our points leader, trying to show he's strong on a TT also. Headed to the start-finish line off the final corner. Dashing Davis Fisher going to take the victory on the back wheel. Woo-hoo. I thought he was going over backwards for a second.
That kid's pumped.
Here comes some more
Whoa,
passing.
whoa,
Watch out.
we got a little kicking going on there, coming down the front straightaway. A couple guys getting together.
Okay, put his foot out there, going to kick or something. I don't know. All right, Fisher's still celebrating all over the place on the jump.
This kid's pumped.
Let's give you a rundown. Fisher takes the win by a little over 2 seconds. Justin Jones, second. 51M. Cole Fredericks in third. Bronson Bauman, 30Z, fourth. Steven Sandoval in the fifth spot. Jeffrey Lowry, sixth. And Jace Castles from Australia takes the final transfer spot. The former winner, Rodney Spencer Jr., he goes to a last chance qualifier with Dan Bromley, Joe Bromley, James Monaco. Tristan Avery got his way back up to 12th. Hunter Even. Luke Fox, Tyler McKnight, and Morgan Mishler was the rider that went off in that final corner, and he did not make it to the finish. So let's go trackside. Danny Medine with our heat race winner, Davis Fisher.
How did you guys like that action? Davis Fisher, our current GNC 2 points leader. Is there a track that you do not excel at?
I don't know. I try to excel at every track, but I mean, you just got to stay consistent throughout the season and hopefully pick off the podiums one by one.
Now, this is my first time at the Peoria TT, and I come from that big air background, and I like to see what you guys are doing. Do you have a motocross background?
No, not at all. I just, in the wintertime, I try and hit motocross tracks here and there, and I mean, I feel pretty comfortable in the jump right now, so see what we can do in the main.
What is it going to take the win here today in the main event?
Right now the track's not too consistent, so just stay consistent and see what I can do.
Scotty and Chris, back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Danny. We're going to take a real quick water break, throw down some water, get the dust down. There's plenty of stuff going on in the infield section. Stop by to see Hearts of Addy. They've got all kinds of prints, autographed number plates, and more stuff. And they are donating all that to the Children's Hospital of Illinois. Also, they're donating $100 to each GNC1 heat race winner, courtesy of Jake Crow and family on behalf of Hearts of Addy. Also, we want to recognize our local businesses that sold advance tickets for today's event: Bikers PhD, Chuck's Harley-Davidson, Charlie's Cycle Supply, Country Saloon, Cupie's Motor Mall, Hall's Harley-Davidson, Hoheimer Automotive, Hole in the Wall, Intake Motorsports, J. Riddle Power Sports, Jets Kawasaki, Mid-Illini Motorsports, Nice Harley-Davidson, Fat Jack's Custom Cycle, Reman's Harley-Davidson, Slate's Yamaha, and Walters Brothers Harley-Davidson. And also please visit the vendors around here and make sure you take care of all the vendors that support us, because that is why we are here. Coming up next, we'll have 2 GNC1 heat races, just a real short break, and then we get back into the GNC1 competition. I think it's a good move. It's starting to get a little bit dusty in some spots. They're put some water out there. Looks like they're turning up the first and second corner as well. Chris?
Yeah, the racetrack a little on the dry side, so they're going to scratch it up a little bit and probably shoot some water on top of it. Maybe they'll leave it a little bit loose too. You know, doing whatever they can to erase a little bit of the rubber. So, you know, they're going to do what they can to give these guys as racy a racetrack as they can.
Yeah, it looks like the track's getting fast, and there's a little bit of blue groove, like you said, especially landing off that jump, Chris. How hard is it to land when that blue groove's there? You can see Fisher got a little bit sideways a few times. We saw Brad Baker with one hell of a save there on that blue groove last year when he landed completely sideways.
Yeah, it tends to be slippery. You know, we see it. It's right in the middle of the sunshine. It's not shaded like the rest of the part of the racetrack. The sun is on it all day long. But it's not an area that they want to mess with too much as far as digging it up and putting moisture down, because you end up, you know, making holes too. Sometimes dealing with a consistent slippery surface is much better than an inconsistent rough one. So I think it's a smart move to kind of leave that area alone. Maybe it'll slow things down a little bit. These guys might you know, respect it a little bit more and be a little bit more careful, but yet more racy as well.
They told us it's a really short break in the action. We're coming back with our GNC1 heat races. There are 2 heat races, just like the GNC2. We will take the top 7 finishers directly to the main event. Everybody else comes back in one semifinal. We'll take the top 4 out of that. The AMA Pro Grand National Flat Track Series moves next to the half mile in Charlotte Motor Speedway, the dirt track right outside the super speedway there, and that is round number 10, August the 29th. After that is the legendary Springfield Mile, September the 6th, which is on Sunday. On Friday, there is a golf tournament, the Scott Parker tournament. You can sign up now. Class 79 and friends out there behind the scoring tower, get signed up for that.
Yeah, I'm actually playing in the same group with Scott Parker, and I think they're auctioning off the the other 2 spots to play with Scotty and I on a old ex-factory Harley guys kind of themed golf tournament, and you can rest assured that there'll probably be some wagering going on between Scotty and myself, as
No
we've
way.
always done when we hit the golf links. So should be a good time and a great way to raise some funds for injured riders.
And that is on Friday, of course. That is right before the Springfield Mile, which is the mile's on the 6th. That's Friday, September the 4th. And then on Saturday, September the 5th, there's an amateur short track going on during the day. And then there's a AMA All-Star short track Saturday night right there at the same fairgrounds.
Yeah, and it's a great little short track. Should be a lot of fun to watch these guys run their 450s around there. Is a chance to get a little extra money, travel money, and a way to get the heart rate up before the Springfield Mile on Sunday.
And then after that, the series moves to the Roar on the Shore. We go to Delaware International Speedway. That'll be a Saturday night race, September the 19th. I'm excited to go out there. I haven't been to Delaware for a race since we raced out in Harrington. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, this track's about an hour south of Harrington, Delaware. It's a stock car style track. It's the Roar of the Shore is kind of like a local bike rally there in the mid-Atlantic states, and it should be a lot of fun. That'll be one of the closer ones to me, and I look forward to going out and visiting a new facility.
Absolutely. Then September the 26th, a Saturday night, we go back to the Calistoga Half Mile Calistoga Speedway, and that's going to be a good one as well.
Yeah, Calistoga, old school racetrack, rich in racing history in Northern California, true stock car half mile. Should be a lot of fun.
And then the another new one is our flat track finales. The season finales November the 20th, which is an indoor out in Las Vegas, and then we'll have the American Super Prestige Show the next night.
Yeah, the AMA Pro finale is going to be on a tight indoor track. It's going to be more like a fist fight in a phone booth. Should be real exciting. And the first annual Super Prestigio of the Americas, pitting a lot of our AMA Pro riders against some international riders. I know this weekend, I believe the first international rider that has been officially invited publicly and announced is Jordan Zoke, who is a multi-time, just wrapped up, I believe it was his 8th Canadian Superbike Championship at Mosport over the weekend. And we look forward to seeing Jordan come out and do his best against the other non-flat track guys that ultimately end up going head-to-head with the best AMA Pro has to offer on the evening.
Super Prestigio started over in Spain. It's our American version for the first time, coming up November the 21st.
Well, the Super Prestigio in Spain's been around for probably 30 years. Guys like Kenny Roberts and Steve Moorhead, and I believe maybe even Ronnie Jones was over there at one time, have ridden some dirt track bikes over in Spain, and it was recently resurrected at the insistence of Marc Marquez. It's promoted by RPM Promotions over there in Barcelona, and they kicked this thing off. They've had 3 runnings of it so far, and last year Jared Mees got nipped by Marc Marquez. Year before, race prior to that, Brad Baker dominated. So I know those 2 guys have been announced to go back to Barcelona, but they're most likely going to be participating in Las Vegas as well.
Up next, heat race number 1, GNC1 class. We're just a few moments away. Track is just about ready to go. There's 13 riders in this one. We'll take the fastest 7. The first 7 across the finish line might not be the fastest, guys, but the first 7 across the finish line go directly to the main event. Beautiful day. It's pretty warm out here in Peoria. Lots of things still happening in the infield. T-shirt booths going on. If you want to donate to the Jethro Halbert Fund, there is a jar set up on the infield concession stand. Stop by when you can. Donate what you have. Man, got a little choked up there.
Yeah, a little frog in their throat.
Something.
There. Well, this place today is hot. These were days that I really relished, specifically when I was in my 20s and in the middle of a hot streak out here. I loved it when the temperature was hot. Physical fitness is going to be very crucial for all the riders racing today, and the 2 guys that we have talked the most about over the course of the day, obviously Henry Wiles, a 10-time in a row winner here, a former wrestler, very physically fit, and our defending champion Jared Mees, who wishing to get his first AMA Grand National victory on any TT. No better place than here at Peoria. Also a former wrestler, and he confided in me a year ago or earlier this year that I asked him. I said, "What would you be doing if you weren't you know, a flat track racer and says, I'd probably want to be a UFC fighter. And he may have to have that kind of mentality today in order to go out there and run with Henry Wiles.
That's the Team 95 Racing. J.D. Beach on the left, in the middle, Davis Fisher on the right, Brandon Robinson. So we're going to take a short break. The track's about 5 more minutes, so 5 more minutes, get a word from our sponsors, and check this out on fanschoice.tv.
Whenever we talk about the Peoria TT, the first thing that comes up is the jump. Unique to this racetrack, unlike any other on the AMA Pro Flat Track Tour, is a 70-mile-an-hour turn with an apex at its peak. Rider's gonna hit this and turn up the face from the far right-hand side to the upper left-hand side, turning hard, trying to keep their motorcycles as far left as possible. The suspension is gonna compress into the face. It's gonna unload in the air. And these guys, if their bikes are properly set up, will land the thing as far left as possible, setting themselves up for the right-hand turn. The Peoria TT has been the home of the most mishaps on the AMA Pro Flat Track circuit. Specifically here in the jump, doing it wrong, having poor technique, an ill-handling motorcycle, or just outright being scared. Getting it right here is a matter of having the right frame of mind, the right attitude, proper bike setup. When you do this right, the lap is money. And there just might be a guy who's got all of the above get his 11th win here today. Hey, this is Chris Carr here at the legendary Peoria TT. I was fortunate enough to get a chance to ride defending Grand National champ Jared Mees' 450 motocross bike around this 5/8 mile TT track, and we're going to take you on a lap. Coming down the front stretch off into turn 1, get to use a lot of front brake, which we normally don't on the AMA Pro Flat Track circuit. Get through turn 2 where you want to try and get a good run off the corner, headed to the jump. The jump here, unlike anything we ever see all year long, is more like an elevation change in the middle of the turn. Right at the apex, the bikes get light and they get airborne. Guys are turning hard left in the air. They land as far left as they can to set up for the road race portion of the racetrack, where you got to keep your momentum up through the right-hander, setting you up good for turn 3. Coming off of turn 4, acceleration is king here as we head down the drag strip. This is known as the front straightaway here at the Peoria TT. Going fast here is as much attitude as it is skill. Winning today takes a little bit of both.
Round 9 of AMA Pro Flat Track brings us here to a small valley in central Illinois known as Peoria TT. Different from every stop of the season, the only TT that we run this season allows riders to run a front brake because of the big air and the right-hander. Henry Wiles has dominated here the past 10 times. Will he make it 11 in a row? Or will our current championship contender Jared Mees put a stop to his streak? With the unique features of the historic Peoria TT, it's time for these riders to go big or go home.
All right, track is just about ready to go. So, Chris, do you like what they did on the track? I think that was a good move.
Yeah, I think put a little bit of moisture in it, give these guys a little bit more confidence through turns 1 and 2. It might increase a little bit of the speed headed to the jump. These guys want to be able to race through the turns, create themselves some opportunities. A lot of times when you get a little bit of a blue groove forming on the racetrack, makes it a little difficult to make those passes stick.
So they're just about ready to bring out the GNC1 race. I mean, Jared Meese, pole setter, do you think he's got what he has to defeat Wiles today in the main event?
It's too early to tell that. I think
we'll find out, right?
Up till right now, he's certainly shown the speed. I don't expect him to slow down. You know, Jared's motorcycles are pretty strong. They're pretty healthy. A little bit of moisture on this racetrack will certainly help him. And I think he's in the right frame of mind in order to be victorious today. So, and we saw Rob Pearson just land off the jump, get a little squirrely on the landing. Landing off that jump getting a little bit more technical than it's been earlier in the day.
All right, starting lineup looks like this for our first Harley-Davidson They said the first corner is still a little bit slick, so they're sending them out to watch the first corner. First Harley-Davidson GNC1 class presented by Vance Hines. Your pole setter, Jared Meese on the Honda. He's also our points leader and fast qualifier. 27, Robbie Pearson, Mossville, Illinois. 23, Jeffrey Carver Jr., Godfrey, Illinois. 66Y, Dominic Calendres, Brisbane, California. 87, Mick Kirkness, Warhope, Australia. Last rider on the front row is Flying Brian Smith, the 42 from Flint, Michigan. Row number 2, 95, JD Beach. 44, Brandon Robinson. 17F, Jared Vanderkoy. 16, Wyatt McGuire. 20T, Mikey LaBelle. 94K, Jake Cunningham. And on row 3, all by himself, is Carlin Weiss from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So that's your starting lineup. Heat race number 1. Only 2 heat races today, so we'll take the top 7 finishers directly to the main event, just like the GNC2 class. A benefit to some people. Only a few people are going to have to run a semi and try to make it to the main.
Yeah, you know, got to get out front. Just like anything else, you want to be at the front of this. You don't necessarily have to fight for 4th. You're fighting for 7th right now. This is a great opportunity for Jared Meese. Get out to a quick start, solidify himself a position in the dash for cash. And these guys want to get in the top 2 as well as the top 7.
Here we go. Harley-Davidson GNC1 class presented by Vance Hines, and they are off. Pearson from the inside's got a pretty good start. He's drifting wide. Now it's Calendres. He'll lead him into the first corner on the Yamaha. The 66Y just moved up to the GNC1 class earlier in the middle of the season. He's going to lead him up the jump for the first lap. Where's Meese?
Meese, awful start. Spun it up, turned right, gets off the line about 6th or 7th, finds himself in about 5th right now, headed off into turn 3. He's got his work cut out for him. We're going to see how good he is today coming from behind. He's been riding all day long with nobody in front of him. Now he's got 4 guys as he moves up the inside going into turn 1.
He's got Pearson to deal with first, to the fast boys from Illinois. He's got to get by Pearson to get up front, and he does so in a hurry. Remember, top 3 is going to go to the dash, and the top 7 to the main event. Right now, Dominic Calendres is having the ride of his life out front on the 66Y. It's early on. 1 lap complete. Here they come to complete lap number 2. Mick Kirkness, the Australian rider, in second.
Yeah, and Meese gets up on the inside of the 42 of Brian Smith. This is championship implications right here. Jared can find himself up in the top 2, and Smith outside of the top 2. Jared has a chance to gain an additional point by winning the dash for cash.
Yep.
Important for Meese as he airs it off to the right.
Wow.
Lands nearly on the back of the 87 of Mick Kirkness, right prior to the right-hander. Jared Meese has got the bit between the teeth. See if he can get by the 87 of Kirkness, runs up the inside, trying to outbrake him. Doesn't quite make it up underneath going into turn 1. See if he can get it squared up and go the other way.
Kirkness rode it into the first corner very hard, holding up the Champ. Champ's looking around the outside, letting it air out. Now he can see if he can make the pass. Doesn't have the drive to get back in there for the right-hander.
If there's the toughest place on the racetrack to make a pass is around the outside of the jump and get to him, get up the inside of him into the right-hander. Jared Meese, good drive by Meese off turn 4. You can see the stoutness of that motorcycle coming down the front straightaway of that lap. He finds himself in second. See if he has anything to run down Calendres here as we're almost to the halfway mark.
A 10-lap qualifying heat race. Dominic Calendres is led from the get-go on the Yamaha. Last time by was 1.8 seconds, so just under 2 seconds for your leader. Let's see what Jared Meese can do now that he has some clear track in front. See if he can track down that early leader. Halfway flags are in there. It's still Calendres, Meese, Kirkness, Brian Smith, Robbie Pearson, JD Beach in the 6th spot. Brandon Robinson is our last transfer if they finish right now.
Yeah, good battle here for the 4th position as Smith secures himself a spot on the 2nd row at the moment. looking back through the field, we see the 44 Robinson back there a little ways. In 7th, he's in the bump spot.
And Carver just got by his teammate, moved into 8th. So Carver's on the 23. He's trying to catch up and get that 7th and final transfer. Smith, Pearson, and J.D. Beach have a good battle going on.
And up front, we see Jared Mees. He's inching toward Calendris. He took 0.4 of a second out the previous lap. Jared Mees gonna march forward, see if he can run down the 66 before this is up.
We're past halfway now, and out front, here's your leader. Calendra's on the 66 wide. Next year he'll have a national number. Here comes the jammer, Jared Mees, defending champ, in hot pursuit of the 66 wide.
Calendris takes a peek back over his shoulder, sees the number 1 coming. Probably a little intimidating as Jared really narrows the gap up over the jump into the right-hander. Lines himself up within 2 bike lengths now. A little slip by the champ there coming off of turn 4. Not quite close enough to get a draft going off into turn 1, but he certainly smells blood here with 2 to go.
2 laps left. It's Dominic Calendris, the king of the Lodi TT, trying to take home a victory here at the Peoria TT. Here comes Jared Meese in second, airing it out, just about lands on the back tire. It looked like from that camera view. Man, that was close.
It was close, and Jared's riding with a lot of confidence. This kid up front, though, we can't, Dominic Calendris has won the GNC1 class here with white flag out. Let's see if he can hold off the champ one more lap as Jared goes up a little on the outside, tries to get the thing turned a little early, see if he can get a good run up the inside coming off of turn 2. Doesn't quite get there.
Calendris has to know somebody's behind him. He can definitely hear him. Here comes Calendris into the final right-hander, now the left-hander. Calendris on the 66 wide, the champ right there in second, Jared Meese. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line. Calendris goes to the low line. Here they come off the final corner. Checkered flag in the air. It's going to be Calendris by about a bike length to the finish line. Wow. This might be what Jared Meese needs, though, because now he's in the dash, and now he figured out a few different passing lines. He hasn't had to pass anybody yet today, so that might be what Jared Meese needs for a victory. Your winner on the Yamaha, pretty sure that's the first time he's ridden that bike. Dominic Calendris, the 66Y. The Babe to May Yamaha takes the win. Jared Meese second. Mick Kirkness third. Those 3 are going to the dash. Brian Smith, Robbie Pearson, J.D. Beach, and Jeffrey Carver all join them in the main event. This young rookie has to be feeling pretty good on the 66Y, turning expert right before Hagerstown.
Hey, did what he had to do to win this heat race. So we've talked about this before. Starts are very key, and his good start and Jared Meese's not so good start is the difference between first and second in this heat race.
This young rider is going to be super pumped and super excited to talk to Danny Medine. Going to give him just a second, take his motorcycle superstore helmet. And now let's go trackside. Look, you can see the smile all the way through the helmet. Danny, let's talk to our heat race winner.
Thanks, you guys. What a run out of Dominic Calendris. So you moved up to the GNC1 ranks just recently, and you're out here, Jared Meese, chasing down. How did that feel?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have Tim Humphreys from BHG Sports hook me up with Babe DeMay here, and things have been going good. I really like 450s and TTs, and things are also going good on the twins too.
So you're going on to your first dash for cash. What are your expectations?
Just put down some solid laps, got a good start. It'll be my first dash for cash, so I'm pretty pumped.
Awesome, nice work. Back to you, Scotty and Chris.
Thanks a lot, Danny. Congratulations, Dominic Calendris. Up next, heat race number 2, the final qualifying heat race of the afternoon, and we have the 17 of Henry Wiles. He'll be the pole sitter. He chooses the outside from Crystal, Michigan. 14, Briar Bauman, Salinas, California. 80, Stevie Bonzi, Salinas, California. 5, Jake Johnson, Coatesville, Pennsylvania. 49, Chad Coast, Fremont, California. And the 61, that's D-Rod from right here in Peoria, Illinois. Row number 2, the 69, Sammy Halbert. 91, Mikey Martin. 2, Kenny Coolbeth Jr. 29, Jake Mattia. 12K, Michael Strabel. And the 11 of Scott Baker. On row number 3 by himself is the 29K, Kyle Weiss, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Here we go. Last qualifying race of the afternoon. Up next, we got the Stars of Tomorrow with a little exhibition race coming up next, Chris. Final heat race of the day. Top 3 to the dash, top 7 to the main event.
Well, this is a chance for Henry Wiles, even though he wasn't on the track, but he can outdo Jared Meese by a good start and winning the heat race here. This could be a big boost to his confidence, get out front. He said he made a lot of changes to the motorcycle, and as we have a little issue here getting things underway.
I think somebody's out there on the straightaway. They're trying to get them out of the way. Must be a photographer, something like that. Hard to tell from our vantage point.
Yeah, but Henry needs to strike back. Jared's been the talk of the day so far. This is the chance for Henry to go, hey, hold on a second here. I've won this this race 10 times, you're not going to forget about me, and I'm sure he's going to want to go out and make a statement right now.
Henry Wiles chooses the outside so he can jump onto the groove in a hurry if he wants to. He's going to try to lead him in. It's going to be Jake Johnson on the 5, getting a hole shot on Jared Meese's backup motorcycle.
On Mee's bike, and Henry Wiles up around the outside. Didn't get a great start, but gets a good run through 1 and 2. Follows right up behind Jake Johnson going over the jump as we headed off into the right-hander.
Bonzi's in the infield part over the jump, gets it back on the racetrack. Johnson drifts a little bit wide. Here comes Wiles in. Oh, the leader.
Jake Johnson spins it around backwards.
Leader steps off the bike. He picks up the bike, keeps it running. He'll go to the tail end of the field, so Johnson throws it away. He's still out there. That hands the lead over to the 17 of Henry Wiles out front.
This is what Henry Wiles needs. He needs a clean racetrack, go out, reestablish his rhythm, see if all those changes that he made on his motorcycle from practice and qualifying into the heat race, get himself prepared for the dash and the main event.
Bauman right there in the 2 spot. He finished on the podium here last year. 61 Dustin Crow. He's right here from Peoria, Illinois, and he's up there battling. He's got Chad Coase right there on the 49 who's taking over the 3rd spot.
Yeah, great ride by Chad Coase on the ERT Engelhart Racing Technologies 450. Those guys make some fast motorcycles. We see the 61 and the 91, Dustin Crow and Mikey Martin in 5th and 6th. Good run for those guys. D-Rod wants to put this thing in the main event in his hometown.
Absolutely, but I'm sure he'd like to be up there in that Dasher Cash, though, too. But Chad Coase pulling away in that 3rd spot. Englehart's got 3 bikes here racing today, and Chad's on, looks like one of the fastest ones.
Yeah, running pretty good, but up front, Henry Wiles is who got the 69 of Sammy Halbert up in the 6th position here, chasing up the rear end of the 91 of Mikey Martin. This is not one of Sammy's favorite racetracks, but it's great to see him running the number 69 as he goes up the inside, gets underneath Mikey Martin. Mikey Martin slips a little wide through the middle of turns 3 and 4. But Halbert running the 69 to honor his late brother, Jethro Halbert, will be running that number for the remainder of the season. That
is pretty cool. Wiles out front by 1.6 seconds over Briar Bauman. Chad Coase in 3rd, Dustin Crow 4th. Sammy now is up to the 5th spot, Mikey Martin 6th. And Stevie Bonzi's the man on the bubble on the number 80, the bright yellow motorcycle. So if anybody else is going to get in the main, they're going to have to pass the yellow number 80. Halfway flags are in the air for Hammer and Hank Wiles.
Yeah, Henry Wiles, this guy here is starting to feel comfortable. You see him flick it off in there, goes through the bumps. Bike handles him no problem. He's riding the line that he wants to ride. This guy carries so much speed through the turns, not only in, through the middle, and coming off. He's hitting his marks. This is the Henry Wiles that we hadn't seen so far today. And Henry Wiles starting to stretch it off pretty quick there, opening up a huge gap over the 14 of Briar Bauman.
And one thing we talked about earlier in qualifying practice, he keeps it really low on the jump. He almost throws it down like a motocross style, keeps it low, gets back on the ground in a hurry.
Yes, he does. He as he approaches the jump, he pushes the bike down. He keeps the front end low, and if the front end stays low, the rest of the bike stays low. He does that much better than most of the riders on the racetrack today, and that's part of the reason why he's won 10 in a row here.
So Bonzi has made the pass on Mikey Martin, so now the man on the bubble is the 91 of Mikey Martin. They call him Fluffy, so see if anybody else can catch Fluffy and make it the main. It's still Wiles out front. Bauman's in the 2 spot. Chad Coase 3rd. Dustin Crow, D-Rod's in the 4th spot. Henry Wiles up and over the jump, so smooth through this right-hander, now into the final corner. Chris?
Well, he gets the bike on the ground at the landing of the jump, and he's allowed to accelerate into the right-hander, where many of the guys are jumping really far and then trying to gather it up to accommodate the right-hander. He gets it down on the ground and accelerates through the turn, setting him up great for the rest of the lap.
I think Wiles is out there proving the point right now. He is ahead by 4.4 seconds in this heat race, and we still have a couple of laps left.
Well, right now he doesn't have Jared Mees on the racetrack, so he has to make a statement on the clocks.
Absolutely.
It's the best thing he can do. Jared had a little bit of issue in his heat race. Henry gets out front fairly early with a lap to go here. We're seeing why this guy's won 10 races in a row here.
Last lap was a 2:6.989, the only rider in the 26-second range here in this heat race. Look at him aired out over the jump, gets the wheels back on the ground, and powers through that right-hander, just like you said, Chris. Here comes your winner, King Henry. He's won 10 in a row, and now he's won another heat race here at Peoria. Thunder Valley, there's your heat race winner. Checkered flag in the air. Hammer and Hank Wiles, King Henry dominates this heat race second. Here comes second, just now off the final corner, the big 14, Briar Bauman. 3rd is going to be the 49, the California kid, Chad Coase. And the rest of them Across the finish line, a little celebrating right there. Henry Wiles, whoa, almost went over backwards going up the jump.
Almost had a little too much fun on that wheelie as he
Four.
wobbles that thing off to the right a little bit. It almost came over the top.
4th spot, Dustin Crow, D-Rod. From right here in Peoria goes to the main event. 69, Sammy Halbert. 80, Stevie Bonzi. And Mikey Martin hangs on to that final transfer. So those top 7 finishers all go directly to the main event. Everybody else comes back in one semifinal. Up next after this one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a Stars of Tomorrow exhibition race coming up in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk to King Henry as soon as he gets his skid lid off, and we'll see how that wheelie went down that up and over the jump. Let's go trackside with Danny Medine and our heat race winner, King Henry.
All right, Peoria, make some noise for Henry Wiles. That had to have felt pretty good. Our interview earlier cut out, so I have to ask you again, how much pressure are you under right now to make it 11 in a row this year?
You know, I'm not really under a whole lot of pressure. I mean, obviously, there's, like I said in an interview earlier today, if you don't feel a little pressure coming in here, going for your 11th in a row, then you've never won 10 in a row here at Peoria.
How much fun is this track?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. You know, I know the Peoria Motorcycle Crew is going to keep it up and keep it good racing for the fans, but it's definitely a slow track right now. It's definitely got a lot of groove to it. And whenever this track gets a blue groove, it's slow. And I know the DMG, they've been trying to figure out ways to slow us down over the jump, but I root for Let's Not Stop Evolution and get this on.
All right, you have a great team behind you. Who would you like to thank?
Oh, yeah, I got to thank the whole Zanatti crew. I want to thank Jared Mees for posing a little bit of a threat here today. And, you know, you came here for a race. I did, too.
Oh, pressure's on. Make some noise for Henry, Scotty, and Chris. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. Henry Wiles proving the point out there. Here comes the Stars of Tomorrow exhibition race coming up. And it's the 50cc class. The riders look like this. The 18, Trevor Tidwell, Washington, Illinois. 95, Mason Brock. He's 8 years old from Bartonville, Illinois. 66, Connor Copeland, 7 years old from Pekin, Illinois. 7, Isaiah Hyder, 8 years old from Pekin, Illinois. 123, Isaac Hyder. So we got Isaac and Isaiah. Isaac is 7 years old from Pekin. The number 2, Brody Hanson. He's only 4 years old from Ashland, Missouri. And the number 5 is, I'm sorry, I don't have a number on this guy. It's Paxton Wentz, and he's from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Light is green, and they are off. They get to run the track that the Stars run, except for they got a little chicane before they start headed up to the jump, so they're going to come back this way. Here they go through the chicane area. They got to slow these guys down so they don't go flying into the grandstands after the jump. So that's why we do this for these little guys. Here they come up the jump, Chris.
Oh, this is great. You know, there may be a future AMA Grand National Peoria TT winner here in this group today. It may be 20 years from now, maybe 15 years from now, but we get the opportunity to say we saw him here first.
Well, the good thing is they don't have transponders on there, so they can't embarrass Henry Wiles if they go out and set a faster lap. So that's good news. But here they come off the final corner, head down the long front straightaway. It's a 2-rider battle. This is the Stars of Tomorrow exhibition class. 50cc shaft classes out there. They're Illinois District 17 motorcycle clubs combined together to create the Stars of Tomorrow series to help promote our amateur dirt track racing. Look at them all go down the front straightaway, wide open.
Tucked in. I'm surprised they haven't pulled their handlebar off like they're at the Springfield Miles. Our leaders get through the chicane in turn 1 and 2.
18 is out front. That's Trevor Tidwell, and here comes the 95 right there in second. Mason Brock, 7-year-old rider and 8-year-old rider in second. They catch big air on the back straightaway. Look at him going to the right-hander.
Oh, this is awesome. Woo. I remember starting on a 38cc Moto Villa back in 1973, and they're very similar to what these bikes, these Yamaha PW50s that these kids run.
Look at them all the way around the racetrack. Trevor Tidwell, the 18, is the 2015 national champion in the 50cc DTX Pee Wee class. Wide flags in the air. They're drafting down the front straightaway. Peoria, make some noise.
I keep waiting for the draft pass. The 18 runs it off deep into turn 1. See if you can get it woed down through the apex here. Get into the chicane.
They got to go through the chicane area. There's not a lot of water been put down in that spot. Oh, here comes the second place rider putting on a charge.
Putting on a charge through the chicane as he gains back a little bit of that ground. Lost going into turn 1. Pulls
air.
the front end up off the jump.
Give him a 10 on style points for our second place rider. It's Tidwell out front on the 18 bike. Here comes the 95. Final corner. This is the 50cc exhibition race. Stars of Tomorrow going to come to the finish line. Here they come off the final corner. He's tucked in already, Chris.
Scoot backs, gets a little bit of extra grip on the blue groove coming off of turn 4. tucks in, going down the straightaway, gets his first checkered flag, and hopefully not his last here at the Peoria TT.
18, Trevor Tidwell, your winner. 95, Mason Brock takes home second. Everybody else is a mile away back there, but these riders are ranged from 4 years old up to 8 years old. 50cc DTX class, they're on the cool down lap. Series sponsors include Cupie's Motor Mall Pekin, Huey's Home Medical, Champaign, Illinois, and Spectral Oils, proud sponsor of the Peoria TT. Man, I bet they had a lot of fun out there.
I'll bet that's probably a highlight of their year, getting to do this in front of such a big crowd here at the Peoria TT. Congratulations to these young men on a good show. After
this race, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to take a short break, do some track maintenance. It'll be our first scheduled intermission break. These guys are on their slow down lap, and they're taking full use of it right now, so they're bringing them out of this final corner. Your winner, the 18, Trevor Tidwell, takes the win on the Yamaha PW50. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. How about we put our hands together for all of our Pee Wee riders, the 50cc shaft class. All right, they're going to try to get the winner over to the victory podium, put everybody else back to the pit area. And again, this will be our first intermission break. As soon as the track is clear, they'll get out there and start doing some work on the racetrack. We'll get the helmet off of the winner. He's taking the shield up. Here comes the pit crew to get involved. Danny's trying to help out our winner. And the 18, Trevor Tidwell, our 2015 national champion 50cc DTX Pee Wee class, 4 to 8 years old. We're going to get a word with them on the victory podium. Danny, let's go down to you.
Thanks, you guys. Trevor Tidwell, how much fun was that out there?
Really fun.
What was your absolute favorite part about this track?
The jump.
And why do you like the jump?
I don't know.
Because you get big air?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you someday going to be out here with people like Henry Wiles and Jared Meese?
Yeah.
Are you going to give them a run for their money?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys make some noise for Trevor Tidwell? Scotty and Chris, back to you guys.
A man of few words, but he'll get used to that as he keeps getting faster and faster. So that was our winner of our 50cc shaft-driven motorcycles. We're going to take our first short break, ladies and gentlemen. Good time to stretch your legs, grab yourself something to eat or drink. We'll be back shortly with our last chance qualifiers in both classes. So it's time for a short break. We'll be back soon.